Green Lantern Corps number 8, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Fernando Pasarin. Last issue was just kind of a slow, melancholy issue of John Stewart mourning the fact that he had to kill a fellow Green Lantern. And this issue is actually consequences for that. So we get a call to a bunch of different sectors where there are some really powerful Green Lanterns called the Alpha Lanterns, and they're all being called up because there's something they got to deal with. And for those who don't know, from what I gathered in this book, the Alpha Lanterns are basically the internal affairs of the Green Lantern Corps. Because in this issue, they're looking over footage from, it's the panel that we saw, but supposedly it is footage from one of the rings, either John's or the guy he killed. And they realize, yes, we see all the circumstances that led up to it. Yes, we understand that there were some issues, but he did kill a fellow Green Lantern Corps member and then not, tell anybody. He covered it up. So, yeah, he's going to have to be punished. So we need to go ahead and out and arrest him. And one of the Alpha Lantern Corps are like, if we do that, that's going to cause a whole lot of consequences. And they're like, so what? We follow the law. We are free from emotional stuff like that. And he's like, no. I totally agree 100%. I'm just bringing up that we need to be prepped to deal with those consequences of arresting such a great lantern as John Stewart. And then they say how, they were modified genetically to have the efficient logic of the Manhunters, but also the willpower of the Green Lanterns. So they have their own special oath of which they recount. It's basically saying, follow the law or we're going to get you. And then we cut over to the pretty much the A-plot of the story, which is Guy and John and the entire rest of the Corps, it seems, because of the events of the Green Lantern book, like the normal one, Sinestro dropped off the Yellow Lantern power battery onto Oa and just here, do it, take care of this. So the entire Corps is using their energy to dig a giant hole and bury it in there. And they're just going to pick it up and drop it in. And Guy's pissed off because he's like, no, why are we just going to lower it in and have it still stand? We're keeping this on the planet. That's stupid. So he just uses his willpower to get a giant hammer and he knocks it over sideways into the hole. And he's like, there, taken care of. He's like, John's just like, it's not buried, Guy. It's just standing, it's on top of the hole still. And he's like, all right, well, then we dig a bit more, whatever. But it shouldn't, we shouldn't be treating it with all this, pomp and circumstance. If Sinestro brought it here, he clearly should not be trusted with his old Corps thing on our planet. How many Yellow Lanterns do we have on this planet? And Salak steps up and he's like, yeah, we've got a lot of Yellow Lanterns on this planet, but literally all of them are comatose. We're putting them into induced comas. None of them are going to be a problem. And we're just going to put this thing in the ground because that's what we need to do. It's well, we shouldn't be treating it like it's some precious object. It should just be whatever. So he gets a call from the high command, I guess you want to say, the Guardians, and they all think that he's about to be chewed out because he just literally wasted all their time of trying to slowly pick up this thing by just knocking it over. So he arrives at the Guardians, and basically he's like, all right, do what you're going to do. And it's like, actually, no, we listened to what you had to say and you're right. We're going to tell them to put it laying down flat in the hole instead of vertically because symbolism matters and we should show that it's toppled and it's done. And he's like, hold on, did you say that I was right? And they're like, yes, you were right. And he's like, oh my God, is this what it feels like? Oh, geez. And basically they go a step further and say, look, we realize that you may have been overshadowed by the other Green Lantern Corps members for pretty much your entire time here. And we feel bad about that. We're sorry. We underestimated you, and we'd like to rectify that. And that guy literally cannot. He busts out laughing. He cannot believe that they're saying this. And they recount you've done all these things, and Hal, despite being such a good force for the Lanterns, he has also nearly torn us apart God knows how many times. So, no, yeah, we think that you've done a fantastic job, and you've managed to exemplify what the Green Lantern Corps means. And basically they offer him a command position. They say, you will be equivalent to basically the general of the army of the Green Lantern Corps. You will be the one calling like some major shots here. And he's like, but what about Salak? What about him? He's the one who like calls the shots. And he's like, Salak will answer to you, and you will answer only to us. And he's like, I'm in. And they're like, well, why don't you take a few days and think about it? And he's like, I'm in. So then they go to the Warriors bar, of course, Guy's bar. John is making a little barn out of toothpicks, and they just are shooting the shit. They're just talking for a little bit, and John asks Guy how how once Guy left, John's like, yeah, we got the call like once you left that they wanted us to put it in sideways. And Salak was pissed. And Guy's like, that's not all. You're not going to believe what they want to talk to me about. But before we can get it out, we see that some mercenaries are coming into the bar just to have a drink. They're not there to kill anybody. But they refuse to check their weapons at the door. And Guy's like, hey, guys, you know the rules. You need to check your weapons at the door. He's like, why? You guys are Green Lanterns and you have your rings on you. Like, it's literally the same. It is a weapon. And he's like, yeah, but this is like our turf and we're always on call. So you just got to follow the rules. Okay? So go check your weapons at the door. And he goes and sits back down. And John's like, wow, you handled that very calmly. He's like, what can I say? I'm turning a new page. And then someone throws a beer at his face and he puts up like a shield to block it. But he's like, all right, new page has been turned. Let's kick some ass. So then the entire bar just turns into a bar brawl. None of the Green Lanterns are using their rings, though. They're just beating up the mercenaries with their own hands. But as this is going on, the roof caves in, the Alpha Lanterns bust in, and they say, hey, John Stewart, you're under arrest for murder. And that's where we leave off. I like this issue. I think it was solid. I really like how Guy plays into his own stereotype there of like, are you kidding me? Are you like, you seriously think I'm good? Psh, all right, whatever. It's solid. I can't say for certain who I really think my favorite Lantern is. I don't have enough exposure with the Green Lantern Corps yet. Guy's funny, at least. He's got some moments, so I'm down with that. So yeah, no, it's a solid issue. Art is great throughout. I think the Alpha Lanterns were set up decently enough, even though they were really only the bookends to this story. So yeah, no, I'm interested. I'm interested in assuming both these plots are moving forward at the same time. I'm interested in both Guy's story and how John is going to deal with this. So overall, I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's very extremely well done, and I am looking forward to seeing how it continues from here.